Connecting.
Hey, welcome to EduTechGuys, where this is EduTech Radio, come to you live from Southwest Arkansas Educational Cooperative in Hope, Arkansas. I'm Jeff Madlock.
And I'm David Henderson. Good afternoon to you.
Today's show is going to be pretty exciting, considering we've had a fun time here in the studio trying to get all of our stuff working. We can't tell you how easy and yet how complicated it can get trying to get this stuff set up. If we send a little candy to you out there, just let us know in the chat window. Or you can hit us on Twitter at EduTechGuys, EduTechGuys. Let us know what's going on out there. Now, what's great today is we have a guest coming on at 3:15, and that will be Stony Evans. He works for Lakeside Public Schools, and he is one of their media specialists. He is the media specialist, and he's going to talk to us about 3D printing and what they did at the pre-conference workshops at HISTE, the Hot Springs Technology Institute, this week. He even had some students help out, and they were on board with doing all that kind of stuff. I just pointed at Dave. Your turn, dude.
It's your turn to talk. I was working on something else and have no clue what you even just said. Sorry, dude. All right. So, anywho, so we're going to have Stony Evans on here about 3:15. In the meantime, one of the things that I heard this morning when I was coming in to work, I had NPR was on, and they were talking about this new thing with MIT and the Woodrow Wilson National Fellowship. I don't know if anybody's heard about this, but they've put together a $30 million project, program, whatever you want to call it, and the idea is that they are looking to revamp pre-teacher education, and the idea is that the courses that are going to be offered to folks wanting to teach are no longer going to focus on the subjects and the credits that these pre-teachers need to take, but rather it's going to focus on more of a skills-based curriculum. So as folks who are learning to be teachers, as they acquire and demonstrate proficiency in various skills, then they pass that skill and they move up the chain, and eventually when they acquire all the skills that are part of this new curriculum, then they get their degree conferred upon them, and they are not licensed educated, but they at that point graduate with an education degree, and then of course they have to still go through whatever provisions each state would have in order to get them licensed. But very interesting. I don't know. I know there. I had gone to a conference 2 years ago called iNACOL, and that was in Orlando, and it's all about blended learning. And there are some schools that are starting to approach a similar feel to the way that their classes are being offered, where students are actually assessed on their skills and not just advanced because they are 12 years old or they've passed sixth grade or whatever. They're able to take these courses and are assessed based on the skills they acquire while they're doing it. So it's very interesting to see this movement really break free of, well, I don't want to say break free, but kind of extend itself into higher ed, considering that we've been, some districts have been toying with it at that kind of upper student level. I don't know, it's so different from what we have grown up with. You know, we grew up A's, B's, C's, D's, you go first, second, third, fourth, you know, whether you knew the material or not, as long as you passed the class, you were pretty much going to the next grade level. Yeah. And frankly, that's, you know, pretty much how things operate now. And this is just so different.
Yeah, it's really crazy. Where'd you hear this at? Was it NPR?
This was on NPR this morning, yeah.
It's funny that National Public Radio finds out stuff before even the educators do. Usually how it plays out. Hey, if you're just joining us, you're joining us at radio.edutechguys.com. Every Wednesday at 3 p.m. Central Standard Time, we're here, and we're going to discuss technology and education and all the good stuff that's going down. Right now, we're checking a few things. It's always like for us. I feel like a squirrel trying to dig up nuts in the yard every time we do this. Because it's like, gotta hurry, gotta get this all situated, all that kind of stuff. What's interesting today is we do have Stony Evans coming on to talk to us about 3D printing. If you haven't learned about 3D printing, then you've been living under a rock, because that's all anybody talks about. 3D printing this, 3D printing that, guns, parts to everything else. The big movement now in education is makerspace. And that idea is to build these spaces where kids make things. And now, it's funny, we've always had maker spaces. If you had ceramics and pottery and all that kind of stuff, that was a maker space.
Right.
Interestingly enough, any art is a maker space. The band hall was a maker space. What was really cool was even the choir room is a maker space. So we're bringing in, I see our guy right now, Stony Evans is going to come online here in just a bit with us. About 3:15, we've got just a few minutes till he gets here, but back to maker spaces. Maker spaces are pretty cool. David's had some stuff done with some maker space. So we're going to switch seats here.
Let me reiterate, or actually I can't even reiterate at this point. We have not discussed the fact that we at one point were much more prepared to this, and then all of a sudden, as what happens often with technology, one thing starts to unfold, and then
exactly.
We have this big snowball effect. So anyway, what we're
I'm setting up a few things here.
we're trying to get things set up so that Stony can come in here and start to talk to us about what's going on with 3D printing. I have no idea what that is.
Yeah, Stony's online right now. Hey, Stony, can you hear me okay? Cool. Well, we can't hear you yet because I turned off my speakers.
Oh, I'm like, where'd you go? So can we hear him? Go ahead. Yeah, there you go.
Cool.
I think.
We had just a second. We're fixing some stuff here.
We apologize, folks that are listening online. We're attempting to troubleshoot and carry on a conversation all at the same time.
So go ahead, Stony. Can you hear us?
Yeah, no problem. You guys sound great.
There we go.
Great.
Great. Awesome. Man, we
So
appreciate you
Stony's on
joining.
the air now. Do you mind if we start a little early? You in the mood to get going?
Yeah, man, let's do it.
Hey, so we told you some stories out there that he was going to be on at 3:15, but we've got him on now. So I'm going to let him introduce himself. I've known Stony. I know who he is. I've known Stony a long time. We go way back. But I'm going to let him introduce himself and tell us a little bit about him. Go ahead, Stony.
Well, first of all, thank you, Jeff and David, for having me on today, and hello to everyone listening. My name is Stony Evans, and I'm a library media specialist at Lakeside High School in Hot Springs, Arkansas. It's a position I've served in for coming up on my 7th year. And we serve about 1,300 students here at Lakeside, 8 through 12. And what drew me into library media was more the technology aspect of it. And I've loved gadgets and computers and just all things tech. Well, since I was in college, and that's where, of course, Jeff and I met in college, and he's always been a tech guy, and I learned a lot from him in college about computers, and he actually kind of got me started in some of the things that I've ended up doing today as a library media specialist. Before I did this, I was a band director and spent about 12 years doing that, and then made the switch to library media 8 years ago. So that's my story.
Cool. So I saw the pictures from your pre-conference workshop at HISTE, and man, you had a lot of 3D printers in there, and you had a lot of folks there. And I think the cool part was that you involved the students, and to me, that's the key. Those kids, got to work with adults and be the teacher for once, and work with them. So tell us, I know I'm jumping right into it, but we were just talking about maker spaces and the whole bit. So how long have you guys been doing this makerspace movement with 3D printing?
Well, it started last year. Melinda Dodd is our director of technology here at Lakeside, and she hit me up, I guess it was about May or June of last year. She said, "Hey, what do you think about getting a 3D printer?" And of course I was like, that's great. When's it going to get here? and I had seen a little bit about 3D printing. I hadn't gotten real active on Twitter yet, so what I had learned about 3D printing was basically through our local co-op. Dawson Co-op had showed us some different things. Tanya McMillan had shared that this was, an emerging tool that was going to be appearing everywhere as it got more affordable. So we got a MakerBot replicator about this time last year. And I'm going to tour here through the summer. It's set in the box, and finally I got my tech guys that helped us here at the high school to help me unpack it, and I was nervous to do anything with it because I thought, oh shoot, this is something I've never seen before. This thing's going to print stuff that I can hold, and they helped us get it going. And we actually did our first session last summer in July. We just went into, of course, if you're familiar with MakerBot, they have a social media portion called the Thingiverse, and everybody uploads things that they create into the Thingiverse. Well, we went into the Thingiverse and we printed like a phone case and another object or two. In fact, I've got it here somewhere.
Yeah, I think I remember you posting pictures of that. Did you post pictures of that phone case? Yeah, I remember you posting pictures of that on Twitter.
And this
that's awesome.
This was the first thing that we ever printed, and it took like 4.5 hours to print this guy. But it was just so exciting to see this device that's not much bigger, as far as the width of a computer, print this piece out of a roll of plastic that looks like weed eater, your weed eater plastic that you use to clear your yard and whatnot.
That's wild.
I mean, it did it in 5 hours, and we're just blown away. So it all started. Our makerspace experience really started with this MakerBot, and when school started, we wanted our kids to get plugged into this. So a lot of our E students started coming down, and I would just have the thing going in the library printing different things, and we had a core group of E students that came in almost every day just to to experiment with it. And the first thing they wanted to do was print they were working on, it was like a solar powered, something powered go-kart, and they wanted to build a mini version of this as just kind of a practice project for the 3D printer. And so they started doing that. It was weekly, and by the time we hit November, they had gotten pretty proficient with it. So that was the first time that we turned the kids loose, and I said, hey guys, why don't y'all think about, we love doing, by the way, in our library, we love doing lunch sessions, different things showing technology, video gaming. We try to reach every type of kid in our libraries here at Lakeside. And I thought, how cool would it be to have these boys just present 3D printing and just introduce it, because they're used to hearing from me, and I'm, to them, I'm this old guy, like their parents' age, and they don't want to hear from me. They want to hear from kids their own age. So we turned the boys loose on it, and I told the guys, I said, bring me an outline for what you want to present, because I want them to take charge of this. And they brought me an outline, and they jumped into this, made a really attractive presentation to show. I think they used PowerPoint. I wish they would have used Prezi, but they used PowerPoint. Yeah. And but I turned them loose on it again, and they did a 30-minute presentation during lunch, and it was well attended by our students. We gave away some pieces that they created, and it was awesome. And if you're on right now and want to see the results of that, you can go to our blog. It's Library Media Tech Talk, and I actually did a reflection on that back in January. Put some pictures, and you can see all the details on that student-led 3D printing session. So anyway, I probably talked way more than you wanted me to, Jeff.
No, that's what you're here for, is to talk.
That's right.
Hey, this is internet radio. Like we said, we don't have faces for radio. David and I don't, so we're going to talk as much as we can. So.
That's right.
Yeah. Well, sometimes you just have to shut me up, because I get really passionate about this stuff, and I don't stop talking. But anyway, that's how we got rolling with it.
That's awesome. So I'm going to ask you some specifics. So, I've heard all the horror stories of printing with 3D, printers. You got to spray this with hairspray, and you got to have some PAM on the side to get it off the sheet, and, all that kind of stuff. It doesn't look like you guys run into that. With what model printer were you guys using at the workshop?
At the workshop, it was actually the MakerBot Mini. And the way it differs, much smaller, about half the size of the MakerBot that we have. And it must be, from what we could tell, it must be connected to a computer to upload files, or wirelessly, which we haven't experimented much with that. There's a MakerBot app and a Thingiverse app, and you can actually wirelessly connect to these printers and just do it all that way. Hopefully that's something that we can expand and learn more on this year. But there were no issues with the build plate. Is typically where you have issues with some of the plastics. Really are hard to pry off of that material, and we didn't have any issues with the material in the at the pre-conference session that we did. It all worked quite well.
That's awesome. And so I was reading, you posted all your stuff on your blog, and I was looking at the pictures and reading about it. And so pretty much you can get away using the free version of SketchUp, can't you?
Yes, and I have some interesting news on that actually. If it is an Arkansas educator, I'm pulling this up as I'm talking to you.
Yeah, I saw that. I was going to mention that on the sysadmin today. There was discussion that there's a state contract to purchase SketchUp.
Yes, and I'm trying to find that email, and I'll share the person's name that you need to contact at ADE.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's just an annual type thing or if it's forever. Whenever you get this code that they share, gosh, it's in here somewhere. I'm sorry, Jeff. I'm scrolling through.
Oh, that's
as fast
okay.
as
We'll pull it up and we'll definitely tweet out about it and we'll drop it out there. Also, if you'll check Twitter, David's twittering like a madman right here. So
that's really what he's got me here for. When I'm not talking, I'm tweeting. So
we're gonna make sure you can follow Stony. You want to follow him at Stony STONY 12270. But that's his Twitter handle, and you can also catch him on his blog. Hey, Stony, what's the web link to your blog URL one more time?
Okay, the URL's kind of long, but let me share that with you. It is Library Media Tech Talk, all one word, librarymediatechtalk.blogspot.com.
Okay, cool. Hey, that's what we need to do. We need to buy him that URL and send it to him. Send him that. That needs to. If anybody out there wants to donate, go buy those kids and Stony, get them that whole URL so they can have it .com so they can just blast it out everywhere.
There you go, that's right.
Hey, it's interesting. I know we talked about 3D printing, but I have to tell you stories. The coolest thing I ever saw was they were studying the Great Depression, and they were studying the Dust Bowl. And Stony and his compatriots they dressed up. They do readings in character. I'm just amazed by the stuff you guys do over there. If you didn't know, I follow you constantly. Stony and I are old-timey jazz musicians. We've been doing it a long time. When you had in one of the greatest groups in Hot Springs to come in and play live acoustic jazz for your kids in the library.
Oh yes, when our ninth grade English was reading, it was To Kill a Mockingbird. They wanted to bring the 1930s and the culture of that period and make it real to the students. So our administrators allowed us to hire Clyde Pound and Shirley Chauvin, that bunch.
Yeah.
And those guys played all day. I mean, every period, and we fed them. It was just wonderful. And they let me honk on a couple of tunes with them. But it was
cool.
It was a blast. We didn't get to do it this year. Park testing kind of took us out of a lot of the things that we had done in the last part of the year. So we're hoping we get to do that again next year because the students all loved it. They were like, I've never heard jazz. And to get to that experience of seeing live musicians, I mean, it just really makes the library, to me, that's what the library should be. We're more than just books. We're teaching technology, but we're also making culture real to students and history. And I'm just very thankful and grateful to work in a district where our administrators allow us to think out of the box and do different things to reach kids. So, definitely.
I have to brag on you again. So, Stoney's a wonderful photographer, and he shoots great video, and his wife plays piano, and he cuts a lot of hymn tunes and some really great tunes out there. You guys make the videos, you put them on your YouTube channel. I think the coolest part about it is that you're like the media specialist Renaissance dude. You're a Renaissance man because you're doing a little bit of everything. You're not just telling kids about it; they can go out and find it, and that's the really interesting part. If you're not following Stony on Twitter, that's where you'll catch everything that he's doing because he's posting stuff out there like crazy. But the cool part is that you're walking the walk and talking the talk, and your kids are seeing it happen in real time. And from what I can tell, is that you've got a handful of kids, and that's what we're going to see first. We're going to see those handful of kids really grab a hold and go, wow, there's so much more I can do. I have to say you've intertwined everything that you've done in your life right back into your teaching. I think it's pretty amazing, man.
That's very cool.
I appreciate that, and again, I'm grateful I'm just grateful to work in an environment where that's embraced by not only our teachers but our administrators. But to me, this is what education should be, and I'm just going to keep doing the very best that I can to improve in the years that I'm granted to stay in this position.
Hey, so I want to ask you a question. I keep you online as long as I can. So I want to ask you a question about something. Teach like a pirate.
I'm ashamed to say that I have not read Mr. Burgess's book.
Don't feel bad. We haven't yet either, so it's okay.
But I want to, because I got turned on to Twitter chats again about a year ago, and it has, Jeff and David, it has changed my life in that now I have instant connectivity to these passionate educators. And Jeff, I know you're active on Twitter and you've seen this up close, but I ran across, when you start getting into Twitter chats and you take part in one and you respond to a question, when you finally build up the nerve to answer one of the questions and you send it out to that hashtag and you start getting responses and you start getting followers and you follow other people, and your professional learning network just grows exponentially.
Yeah.
And then when you start a Twitter chat at 7 o'clock and it leads to another one at 8 o'clock, and then before you know it, it's 11 o'clock and my wife's yelling at me, hey, put that thing down. But it honestly has just changed the way I look at education. And a perfect example of that is TLAP, Teach Like a Pirate.
Yeah.
I ran across the TLAP hashtag, I don't know, maybe last fall, and I saw these icons of teachers dressed like pirates. And I thought, this is really interesting. And I caught one of the chats, and they were so student focused. And I just really, anytime that I've participated in a TLAP chat, I've always gotten good student-led or student-centered comments and feedback. And all of the educators that I've connected with in that group are just passionate. And I really like that group, and I have got to read that book.
Yeah, we do too. We were just talking about, and he's got a new thing out. It's 50 Secrets of Google Classroom. That's his new one. I gotta find it and get a hold of it, because we're really pushing Google Classroom here, because it's a wonderful piece. And if there's 50 things, I only knew about 12. So
Right, yeah.
to find out what those are. Hey, it's interesting. The tech ed chats that happen on Twitter, that's how this radio show kind of came about, is that I was on a Florida Ed chat, and Fitzy was looking for ideas, and we threw out an idea, and David and I, we always, at lunch, we brainstorm, and we said, we should be doing an internet radio show. We both love radio. We love to engage people in talking. I've been the only one to talk here. David can't get it a word edgewise, unfortunately.
That's okay.
But you're right. Every time I go to any Tennessee Ed Chat, Texas Ed Chat, Iowa Ed Chat, I've done a ton of them, I come away with one or two things, and I come away with about 20 new connections. And I think that's the big deal, is the connections around the country. Find out what everybody else is doing.
Not only that, but like today, I had a colleague of mine from Hot Springs High School that I taught with. She just took a new job in Texas as a new librarian, so she's finishing up her degree. And she came in and she said, look, I'm going to be in Texas. Do you know anything about database access down there? And I thought, no, I sure don't. But then I thought, wait a minute. And I pull out my phone and I go to the Texas Librarian Chat, which I've participated in, ran across it by chance. Again, the more followers and people that you follow, the more great stuff that goes across your feed. And again, that's how I found the Texas Librarian Chat. So I tweeted out, got this new librarian. Can somebody help me in the Texas Librarian Chat? How can she find out about databases? Within just a couple of minutes, I had 2 responses. A couple of folks down there that I've conversed with more than once, more than willing to help her. The professional learning network, and how it can help you find answers to questions that you may not know. And it's just powerful. How do we live without this great technology before?
Seriously, that is really, I think you hit the nail on the head in terms of things to ask. That's it exactly. How did we do what we do and make the connect? Well, really, Well, we know how we did it. Those of us who actually stepped out and did it, we did it the old school, go to a conference, shake hands, try to talk to as many people as you can, that kind of stuff. But with social media, the way it is, the way it's set up and how easy it is to meet like-minded folks, that is really, to me, that is one of the most amazing, and I know this word is overused, but quite literally awesome, awe-inspiring, thing, technology, right? The avenue for which we can meet other people who share the same interests as we do. And I think did we lose you?
Yeah.
Okay.
We got a storm coming through.
We do. I don't even know if we're still on Mixler.
Yeah, we're
okay.
actually, yes.
Anyway, where I was going with that, for those folks following along, it's just being able to quickly and easily follow like-minded folks and share ideas, get ideas from other folks, put your ideas out there, and frankly, Twitter makes it really easy. You just follow the hashtags. So, TLAP, teach like a pirate, or, hashtag FETC, and you find out what's going on with FETC, or the big ones that Jeff and I follow are hashtag EdTech, EduTech, and education. Those could keep you busy for days.
Hey, Stony, can you hear us?
Yeah, I'm back.
We've got him back. We've got a storm that's about to blow through. So I think that may be part of where some of our connectivity issues may come from. We're not exactly sure, but anywho.
Hey, well, I won't keep you because I know it's you're getting out of the place. I want to thank you for coming on the show.
Oh, well, I appreciate you, Jeff, for all the kind words and for for sharing the blog. I just hope that anyone listening, if they do check out the blog, that if you have any suggestions on how we can improve anything, and of course that goes for both of you, David, Jeff, please tell us, because the one thing about my team, we're never satisfied. We're always wanting to improve, and we want to make a difference. So thank you for giving me an opportunity to share what we do with everyone listening, and hope to get to visit with you both again. Thank you.
Oh, we're definitely going to have you back. Hey, and you need to, if you're an educator listening to this broadcast right now, you need to follow Stony at Stony, STONY 12270 on Twitter. If you follow him and you're an educator, I'm pretty sure he'll probably follow you right back, and you'll make a great online friend. The beauty of technology is that it's now pouring down rain here, and we did reconnect with Skype. Hey, Stony, thanks again, man, and I will be in touch with you soon.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.
You too,
Thanks,
buddy.
Tony.
Bye-bye.
That was Stony Evans from Lakeside School District, a media specialist. Really excited to have him on the show. All heck is broken loose here as far as weather goes. I think it's funny. Every broadcast we do, something happens.
Yeah.
One day when we get our new office building, hint, hint. No, I'm just, that's never going to happen. We're going to have to raise money for that. No, it's we're actually having some pretty severe thunderstorms here right now, so we're still online. Try to keep you out there. What's interesting about that, Stony was great. I've known Stony since college. He was a wonderful tenor sax player, great jazz man, great band director. Yeah. It's funny, that's how I started my career as a band director. And Stony did the same thing. We both ended up doing other things in technology and education. Yeah. And it's just, it's kind of an art thing. You were in radio, you know what I mean? We just kind of drift into this.
Sure.
But yeah, it's really nice to have him on.
Yeah, that was... and I got a lot out of it. I didn't know who he was, so I appreciate you introducing me to him. And of course, as you said, I started following him. He followed right back, and we've actually favorited and exchanged a few things. So that's been great in terms of referring back to, especially our backgrounds. I don't know. I've enjoyed. Coming into education, not necessarily from the education side, I came in from the tech side of things and was baptized by fire my very first the very first summer that I worked at an education service center, the director came to me and she said, "Oh yeah, by the way, in addition to doing all the tech stuff you're doing, we need you to teach a bunch of workshops." So that was I jumped in and had no idea what I was doing in terms of teaching. So over my course of experience, I've actually learned how to teach, which I realize is not always an easy thing. I'm sure folks have taken courses where you have an expert in a field. I'm not an expert, but you've had an expert in a field who tries to explain what it is they do, or they're trying to teach you how to learn what it is they know, and it's very difficult. I'm just going to be flat out, straight up. Teaching is not easy, okay? So if you're out there and you're listening and you're like, "Oh, teaching's a piece of cake. I can teach it." Maybe you can, but I will tell you, it is. There's a lot of work that goes into it. There's a lot of definitely planning, but there's also, I don't know, there's this intangible piece that goes with that. No matter what you're teaching, you got to enjoy what you're doing. I mean, you really do. If you don't enjoy it, your audience picks up on that, whether your audience is a group of college students in a classroom, whether that audience is a group of grade school age children, whoever your audience is, if you're not excited about what it is you're trying to convey, it comes across, I would say, pretty blatantly.
Yeah, it does. I think it's a definite.
But as far as I apologize. We're a little distracted by
the thunderstorm,
the
going on
absolute
behind us.
torrential downpour and thunderstorm that is rolling all around us. But I just wanted to real quickly thank everyone who is listening to us here at EduTechGuys, radio.edutechguys.com. And I also want to thank Southwest Arkansas Education Cooperative, where I'm the technology coordinator. Phoebe Bailey's the director, and she has given us her blessing to start this up. And also Bobby Hart over at Hope Public Schools. That is where Jeff is a technology coordinator, and he's really been on board with this. So it's been awesome. I mean, it really has. Frankly, it has been awesome, the support that we've gotten for this. I know we're only less than a handful of shows into this, and we've got some kinks to work out and some other fun stuff that we're working through. But definitely appreciate all the folks that are helping making this happen, and appreciate you guys for listening. I don't care, frankly, I don't care if there's one of you out there or if there's 300 of you out there or 8 million of you. I appreciate the fact that you're taking time out to listen to us, have us running in the background, whatever it is that we're providing. Maybe you've got a storm raging outside your own window, and we're providing a voiceover for the pouring rain. I don't know.
I tell you what we're going to do. We're going to take a quick break, give a shout out to the Southwest Arkansas Educational Co-op who's hosting us today. Quick promo for them. We'll be right back in probably about 4 minutes.
And technology coordinator for Southwest Arkansas Education Cooperative. And I just wanted to take a couple of moments to talk about the Southwest Arkansas Education Cooperative and let you know what it is we do, what we're about. The Southwest Arkansas Education Cooperative is made up of 9 school districts in rural southwest Arkansas. The counties we serve include Hempstead, Lafayette, Miller, and Nevada. We serve approximately 12,400 students and about 1,250 public school teachers and administrators. The co-op offices are located on the campus of the University of Arkansas Community College at Hope, often referred to as UACCH. Our current facility opened in August 2010 through a partnership with the co-op, with UACCH, the City of Hope, and the U.S. Department of Agricultural Rural Development Program. We opened our doors to serve our schools and the community through partnerships that are far-reaching. Southwest Co-op was one of was one of the first two co-ops initially established in 1981 by Act 360. At that time, SWAC, Southwest Arkansas Educational Co-op, was a special ed co-op with no state funding. In 1985, Act 349 created the system we know today. SWAC, along with the other 14 cooperatives located around the state, are supported through state funds, local funds from districts, and other discretionary grant funds. SWAC has grown from a staff of 4 focusing only on special education to the current staff of more than 50 serving multiple needs of our member districts. The goal that our cooperative strives to meet is to be a leader in professional development programs, serving our schools, and sharing with others as we work toward improved student achievement. We have proven to work with all cooperatives in bringing in key training for the purpose of benefiting the common good of all. Examples of this over time include the implementation of the statewide technology-infused education training teams, the initial statewide Ruby Payne training of trainers, and statewide purchasing for programs such as video journal and ASCD materials. SWAC has worked over time to form partnerships with the Arkansas Department of Education and Higher Education for the purpose of benefiting our districts. Some of our services include preschool programs for 3 to 5-year-olds, special ed supervisors, content specialists in math, literacy, technology. We do testing services, media services, career and technical assistance, gifted and talented services, bulk purchasing, professional development, and early childhood behavior assistance. We're actively involved with Henderson State University through a partnership, Southern Arkansas University through ERZ, the Education Renewal Zones, and we also have a partnership with the University of Arkansas Community College at Hope, and that's rather extensive. Our content specialists help support teachers implementing concurrent credit through a variety of initiatives and help with programs that are serving students directly, such as Kids College, which is actually going on right now over at the college, and also High School Academic Prep Academy, among other things. We also work with several coalitions that work collectively to improve education for our children in Southwest Arkansas. Our goal is to provide the best possible services to our educational community. The staff maintains a progressive perspective to cooperatively foster quality leadership through professional growth and development, dissemination of current research, enhancing materials and strategies, and assistance in meeting the ever-changing needs of the diverse population that we serve. The ultimate mission is to enhance the delivery of an appropriate quality education for all, to meet or exceed state accreditation standards, and to help develop lifelong learners. With this in mind, we will work to refine and improve services based on the needs of our member districts.
So one of the other things that I wanted to talk about real quickly, and about some of the things that we do here at the co-op in terms of workshops. Today, as a matter of fact, we had a couple of cool technology workshops going on. One of them, Tura Rush, and I'll tweet out her Twitter handle to you through EduTechGuys. You definitely want to follow her. She is a Google certified educator, and she's been here the last 2 days teaching. She did an intro, what I would call a low-level intro to Google Apps in general yesterday, and then today she took Google to the next level, and it was a more advanced. I think they talked. It was sort of what I would call a shotgun approach. So she gave folks an introduction to things like some scripting, some add-ins. Some different advanced kind of things that you can do with each of the different applications within Google. Some advanced things with Google Docs and things like charts and pivot tables with sheets. And I mean, that's cool. Yeah, it was very cool. And then Julie Aaron from Texarkana Schools was in, and she did a workshop with a group of folks on some augmented reality apps that you can get for your phone, whether you have an iPhone or an Android. And so she was showing them things like the 4D elements. If you're not familiar with that or you haven't seen that, you want to go out to daqri.com, DAQRI.com. And they actually, let me start with that. I get so excited about this stuff because it is so cool. All right, so what DAQRI offers, they actually have a couple of virtual reality applications that you can use with students in the classroom. And with 4D elements, they actually have these cubes that you can print out. Eventually you'll be able to buy them, but right now you can print them out and you make your own cubes. And when you bring up the 4D Elements app, point that at the cube. If you happen to be looking at, say, carbon, then the cube through the phone or through your iPad turns into a clear 3D box with carbon in it. It shows you, I believe, the equivalent of 30 grams, 30 milliliters. I remember 30's in there. I apologize, not off the top of my head, not coming to me right away. But what you can do with that, because you're holding that cube, you're holding the physical paper cube, you can actually rotate that cube, and in the app, you see a 3D rendering of just how much 30 milliliters is of that particular element. And it also shows you a complete 3D rendering, so you see what that looks like. So another example is the one for, say gold. When you look at it, it turns the entire cube through the app gold, and it is very cool. It's amazing. But what's really cool about that is that I can take two elements that might go together and hold those two cubes together in my hand, look at that through the app, and it will convert that into whatever substance is made. For example, I'm holding sodium, and I'm holding chlorine, right? NaCl. Hold those together, it makes table salt. So when you hold those two blocks together and you look at it through the app, combined, it shows up as two clear blocks with salt in it. And it shows you the formula. Hey, this is NaCl, it's table salt.
Now that's cool. Now if it would show a salt shaker, see, I would be impressed.
There you go, salt shaker. But the same thing with the hydrogen and oxygen. You hold hydrogen next to the oxygen cube, it makes H2O, even though there's only one of each, yeah, I know. But it makes H2O, which of course is water, and so inside those two cubes, what used to be the gas, hydrogen, the gas, oxygen, combined, and now there is water in the cubes. It's very cool.
Pretty neat.
Very cool.
And that's iOS, is that an iOS?
iOS and Android.
So it's both?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's very cool. And then they've come up with another one called 4D Anatomy. And I think that one's actually called Anatomy 4D. But anyway, they're moving the letters and words around. But anyway, the Anatomy one, they have there's a card you can print out, or you can point your phone to the screen. But there's a card you can print out, and when you point the app to that, it creates a 3D body. And then in the app, it has a little rotator wheel, and you can turn on or turn off different body systems. So you could turn off like all the body systems except the skeleton if you want to see a 3D rendering of the skeleton, or you could put in the, I don't know, endocrine system or the digestive system, or whatever systems you want to see or not see in the human body, and it shows that in 3D through the app. It is wild.
That's pretty cool.
Man, it is so cool.
I can see how that could be used in a lot of situations.
Yeah, absolutely. And
is it free? Is it a free app?
it's a free app, yeah.
But the cubes, I mean, you got to purchase
the cubes you have to buy once they're available. And right now, the last time I checked the site, and in fact, we looked at it earlier today, they're still taking reservations. They're taking orders, basically. They're putting your name on a list for whenever they start producing these blocks and come up with a price.
So what company was it?
It is DAQRI, DAQRI,
Okay.
DAQRI. I know it's kind of a funny name for an education company.
Sure.
you don't think DAQRI is an education.
Well,
some of you don't.
Sometimes you do.
But so DAQRI's got a couple of things, and then one of the other ones that she showed was the AR planets and AR solar system, and those are cards you can print out, and when you scan them, they show 3D renderings of the planets. In your hand. I mean, it's way cool. The augmented reality stuff is very cool stuff. So, just a couple of the workshops that we offered here offered here this summer at the Southwest Arkansas Education Cooperative. If you are not in the Southwest Co-op area, There are education service centers around the state. If you're in Arkansas, if you're not in Arkansas, you may want to check around and find out what education service centers might be near you in your area. I know in Texas, they're called education service centers. In other places, they may be called BOCES, that's BOCES. Here in Arkansas, they're called education cooperatives. So all kinds of different ways that you can get some training if you're a teacher. And heck, for that matter, even if you're not, if you're just listening to us and you're like, oh my gosh, I would love to know that kind of stuff. By all means, our website is SWAEC.org. You can go out there and hit the professional development button and you can see what's going on. And by all means, you can feel free to sign up and pop on over. And our particular workshops that we offer cover all kinds of things. It's not just technology. There's all kinds of things. And they're most of them are I would say, very reasonably priced. $20 to $50 depending on what's going on and what's covered. So very cool.
And it comes with free water. So all the water you want to drink here at the co-op. So.
We're bottling it outside as we speak. That's right.
Hey, I want to thank David for giving us that heads up on that. But hey, you're listening to radio.edutechguys.com. It's EduTech Guys Radio. Listen to us every Wednesday, 3 p.m. Central Standard Time. That's when things are going down here. If you want to catch us online, follow us on Twitter at EduTechGuys, EduTechGuys. Also, you can catch us online at our website, www.edutechguys.com. When you're on the site, you can listen to us anytime you want to. Right there is an embeddable player, so you are on board and making things happen. One other thing I want to throw out for you really quick is here at the co-op, today is just Wednesday. There's a set of workshops tomorrow. Here in a bit, I'll get David to give you what's coming up next week. So if you're still looking for that professional development out there, you definitely want to catch up on professional development here at the co-op. If you're in Southwest Arkansas, or heck, if you're anywhere out there in the state, in the four-state area, if you're looking for some PD and your school system will take it, then you can pop in here. I'll let David jump into that really quick.
Okay, cool, man. Yeah, I appreciate that. On Monday, we've got a couple of tech workshops. One is, when I say tech, allow me to clarify. One of them is gamification, and it's talking about turning your lessons, turning your classroom into, or I shouldn't say turning it into, but adding that whole gamification aspect, points and badges and stickers and all the cool fun stuff that a lot of kids enjoy getting as they are, as they answer certain questions or they achieve certain levels or however you work that. That's on Monday, gamification with or without technology. A lot of folks think that gamification requires playing games or what have you, and you do not. You don't have to have any kind of technology at all in order for gamification. In fact, I know a teacher at one of the local school districts, and she uses little good job stickers with the seniors in her high school class, which it blew me away that seniors would, would be interested in getting little stickers. But when they don't get their stickers for doing something, they are very vocal about, hey, you didn't give me my sticker. So, I mean, it's very cool. That is pretty cool. And so another one on Monday is internet safety and your digital footprint, which is always a very good topic, talking about how to be safe online, but also helping teachers and parents and ultimately students understand what it means to have a digital footprint and doing things like Googling yourself to find out what other people, how are you perceived online? Yeah. And so then just real quickly, some of the other workshops that we have, we actually have a couple of CPR workshops coming up next week. We've got a workshop on differentiation. That's a hard word for me to say. Differentiation strategies that work. We have a workshop on autism, until the pieces fit. And also a workshop on BYOD. And so there's a whole discussion about what's involved with BYOD. What are some of the caveats? What are some of the pitfalls? How you do it? How do you implement BYOD? What are some of the things that you need to know as you attempt to roll out BYOD in your district? So a lot of cool things coming up next week here at the Education Co-op.
You know, interestingly enough, I think that using Google, sorry, I said Google. Using Google, I want to throw some other stuff out there real quick. We got a lot of teachers that are, will move districts.
Yeah.
And Google has provided something for Google Apps. It's pretty interesting. It's called Google Takeout.
Okay.
And so you might have a district, if you're a teacher and you want to save everything you've done in that district. So two things happen. When an account is deleted from Google, you can actually go in and put in who's going to take control of that data.
All right.
And
Sure.
so you could put in another email address in your system. You can actually put one on the outside, and they move it all there. What's pretty neat about Google Takeout is if you're already signed in to your Google account and you go to Google Takeout, you can just Google Takeout, by the way, Takeout. Excuse me. When it takes you there, you'll be able to turn on and off what you want to back up. So what's really great is you could turn off, you can actually back up everything from your Google Drive to all your docs to your contacts to your email to
Wow.
YouTube. And what it does is Google will then tell you it's going to send it to you in one of three ways. It'll either tar it, or it will zip it.
Okay.
And two forms of tar actually is GZ. So it will actually pack it up and send it to you as a zip file to your email. And at that point, when they finish compiling all that, depending how big it is, you might have 10 gigs worth of stuff.
Sure.
They'll still send you a link to a download of a zip file, and then you have all the data that you have compiled inside
Wow.
Google Apps. I want to throw that out there to you because I know a lot of you may be moving right now, maybe getting ready to move to another school district and want a backup. What I would highly recommend doing is, most likely your district is going to go ahead and move all your stuff for you, but you should go ahead and do that. You can make a backup of your own stuff and save it somewhere on a thumb drive and your home safe or whatever you wanted to do.
Well, absolutely. And in some districts, or maybe a lot of districts, I don't know, but they will do that for you. But I would venture that there are also plenty of districts who aren't aware of doing that for you, or flat out may not do that for you. They may say, that's your stuff, you figure out how to save it off.
That's
you
true.
never know. So that's awesome, man.
You can't
So
do it all the
Google-
time. Yeah, Google
Right.
Takeout.
Google Takeout.
And you can't do it all the time. I mean, I think they give you 3 or 4 or 5 times to do it,
Okay.
over the history of your account because, it's just for I'm moving and I'm going to Yahoo or something. I don't know. But it is a neat way to back up your stuff. I want to throw that out there to the teachers. Hey, we were talking about Dave Burgess a while ago, teaching,
Yeah.
Teach Like a Pirate. Interesting concept. The book is out there, Teach Like a Pirate by Dave Burgess. I've seen him holding in a few pictures on Twitter and stuff, I'm not sure if it's a book or a pamphlet or what it exactly is, but it says, I think it's 50 Hidden Secrets of Google Classroom or 50 Secrets of Google Classroom. If you're not aware of that, you might want to follow him on Twitter also. It's 50 things you can do with Google Classroom, 50 things you can do with Google Classroom. If you'll check out our Twitter account, we'll make sure and put a link up to that one here pretty soon in the next few minutes once we can get away and get to one of our computers. I'll tell you what, we're probably going to, I know it hasn't been a full hour, but we're going to wrap this thing up. It's been a good time talking to you today. Remember to follow us at EduTechGuys on Twitter, at EduTechGuys. You can catch us on the web at www.edutechguys.com, and you can listen to us here every Wednesday, 3 p.m. Central Time, radio.edutechguys.com. I'm Jeff Madlock.
And I'm David Henderson.
And thanks for listening. Have a good one.